going and making movies that we want to see. And so this is an example of that. This is one of several movies that we've made, and the movies have been seen by millions of people. So we're really proud of that because we did it with no corporate funding, no government funding. This is all Black owned and operated, done by us for us. And that's the best way for you to get your message out there. So this particular series is called Till Death Do Us Part, where basically we are extending the Black Love Blueprint series. And the Black Love Blueprint series is all about how we can just have better relationships with each other. I don't know about y'all, but I'm sick and tired of people thinking that being Black means you're supposed to be fighting, not getting along, traumatizing each other, hating your relatives, just doing all these crazy things to the kids and everything else, because I don't think our community can prosper in that way. So rather than us getting all preachy about it, I figured we would go to the natural scholars and leaders and teachers in our community. So we're gonna start with Mr. and Mrs. Eddie and Dede Huff. Eddie and Dede Huff, I hit your unmute button. I had to mute a little bit just to, because with the echo, but I'd like to ask Miss Eddie and Dede Huff, first of all, how are you doing? Can you guys, are you all able to hear me? Okay, they're nodding. So let me see. I'm hitting the button. It says ask to unmute. So I think there should be something that pops up on your screen where you can unmute. There we go.
How about that?
Yes, yes. So,
okay.
Mr. Huff, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
Yeah, we're doing great.
All right, all right. And so today, as we watch it, so you two are our stars for tonight. You two are the teachers for tonight. I don't know if you think of yourselves as teachers or how'd that make you feel when I said you're the teachers, you're the smart ones right now?
Well, I've been the student a lot more than I've been a teacher. So, but either way it goes, when my time comes, I'm ready.
Well, that's what makes you a great teacher, is when you're a great student. That's what I learned when I became a teacher, is that the best way to be a good teacher is to be a good student. You listen and you learn, and then you teach, you share what you know. And I know that you all have learned some really tough lessons in the school of life. The world is a university, and you two have been married for how many years is it again? You say 39?
39 years.
Wow. And look at Mrs. Huff over here looking like she about 28. Like she wasn't even. I don't know about y'all, but I know this now, Mr. Huff, please don't get mad at me. I hope you don't think I'm flirting with your wife and nothing. I promise I'm not. But I can tell you, the Black don't crack, and you two look just young and energized. You don't look like you could have done anything for 40 years or 39 years. So
Okay.
what's your secret?
Well, I'm going to put it out there. Actually, next month, I will be 65.
Okay, so all right, we got to end the conversation. This lady in here lying to y'all. Okay,
No, I'm not.
y'all don't tell me I was gonna bring some pathological liars up in here. There's no way.
Well, I think she's kind of young.
I believe it. I will not believe it. So just stop all the lying. I'm not a fan. No.
Yes, actually, next month.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll take your word for it, but I don't know, Eddie. I wouldn't trust this one. She's
Well, he's never checked my ID. Okay, so
see, is always
he might have robbed the cradle.
Well, I love it. I really love it. And also in the conversation is the director of this awesome project. Her name is Tiara KJ Williams, and she is in the building. And Tiara how long did you work on this project, Tiara?
I worked on the project for 2 years, boys.
Wow.
2
years. Yeah, and
yes.
all through COVID and all kinds of stuff going on. And I saw you work through it, and I was really proud of you as you were doing it, and very impressed. So tell me what, as we prepare to watch this part of the film, and I want everybody to know what we're doing in case you don't know. We chopped the film up in 6 pieces because we felt like we could have 6 master classes on love and relationships, and we also let the community watch it free. You just have to come live. Now, the recording, you want to watch that, there's a different conversation about that, but if you come live, you can watch it for free. And the thing is that I felt that this was important enough that a lot of us who really want to figure it out, a lot of people that just don't know, I felt like they could benefit from hearing from people that have really done it and can really give them a realistic perspective on all of this. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree. You know, like I said, I was so inspired when I went to San Antonio in general. I was introduced to the Huffs again from the Brooks. So I told you when I was there, I was just introduced to all these lovely couples who had been married for so long. And I had never seen a cluster of Black people that have been married for 39 years and 42 years. And it was amazing to me. And so I was really inspired by their stories, and Dede and Eddie in particular, because their story is very different from the others. Like I said, everything has a fresh perspective, and as you can see, they're lively. I can tell that Dede and Eddie still love each other. They still flirt. They're still all of the things like that. I just figure when I get their age, now that I didn't know that, Dede, you look amazing. But when I
Thank
get to this
you.
age, I would love to still have that kind of relationship. I mean, Eddie loves his wife and Dede loves her husband. And so I was inspired by that.
Well, it seems to me that and it's one of those things where I don't think we have to necessarily be overly preachy about what people choose to do, marriage and no marriage, things like that. I know I personally took some time before I got married. I wasn't, my parents got married about 21, 22 years old. I mean, I remember like my mother's 22nd birthday, stuff like that. And I thought she was a grandma. I thought she was super old at the time, and so even though I saw the merits of that, I made a different choice. I said, I think I want to take my time. So I don't think we have to be necessarily even preachy about saying to people, oh, you got to get married, you got to do this, got to do that. I just believe this, and maybe y'all can tell me if I'm off base on that or what you think about this, Mr. and Mrs. Huff, but I believe that whatever you choose to do, it seems to me that your goal is to do it right. Right? Whatever it is, if you go left, just make sure you don't drive off the road. If you go right, don't drive off the road. Just, and so it seems to me that if you choose, and a lot of people choose relationships, men choose to be with women, women choose to be with men, people have babies. Maybe they may not choose to have babies, but they choose to make babies, if you know what I mean.
Right.
So it seems to me that there's a right way to do it where you are creating help as opposed to harm, because we know how people are harmed when parents don't do, Eddie and you and I were talking about that. You and I both talked about our fathers and the harm that was created because our fathers didn't quite do it right. What do you think about that?
Well, what I found is that deep in our soul, there is this energy that is either full of positive or it's in conflict. And if it's in conflict, you're not ready to be in any kind of relationship with anybody. Most of the time, people call that mental illness. I would contend that when you really get what life's all about, your power is going to be that positive or that love that's within you. And there's a wholeness that comes when you finally meet a mate and connect with that mate, especially if it's a mate that you're meant to be with, born and God sent that mate particularly for you, because all you have to do is be yourself and you're going to be loved for the rest of your life. And every day, every moment of the day, that love is constantly changing, but it's growing in a positive direction. And so there's a wholeness that goes with being in a meaningful relationship. So I would contend you can make a choice to defer that, but when you're blessed enough to be ready for marriage by first knowing how to love yourself, and then you get blessed and get introduced to a mate, and then you and your mate are together. From that moment on, that's the beginning of another whole life. And you will be history doesn't, you don't get credit for, like you say, we've been married 39 years. I say we've been married a matter of moments, and every moment I need to do what I need to do to keep growing my relationship.
So moment by moment, as opposed to looking at it as a big bulk of years, you just think of it, sort of moment by moment, and then the moments just add up and create the big picture. Is that accurate?
Because I'm not trying to how much I got in my cup. My cup is full, and it flows with love, and it's like dynamic and fluid. So I enjoy every day that I get to spend time with her. And then when I'm away from her, I know that there's a part of me that I can't be where she is, but I'm being represented because I have a mate who me and her have grown and we're apart each other. And even when we're apart, we're together. So that love is a powerful thing. And I think that when God blesses you with a mate that you're supposed to have for life, that you got to handle it moment by moment. You can't be like, I've been here in this relationship, and so now I can kick back. No, you need to get into it, and you need to measure up. Because if you're blessed with a life mate, then you need to be seeing, well, what am I supposed to do next?
Wow. Well, look, that gives me an opportunity to bring in my lovely wife, Dr. Alicia. Now, babe, are you able to hear okay, and your audio working and stuff? Uh-oh. I do not hear you. We do not hear you. So if you keep working on the audio, I'll come in there and help you with that, because I want to hear what you got to say about this. But I think that what Mr. and Mrs. Huff, what you were saying was really interesting when you talked about intentionality. It almost sounded like you're talking about being intentional about constantly refilling that cup of love, like constantly knowing that you said you can't kick back. And I'm sure a lot of us listening can think about times where somebody said, "Oh, I got him. I'm in a relationship now. Now I'm just going to be in a relationship. That's it. Like, I'm not thinking about maintaining it, building it, developing it, healing it, whatever the case may be. It's like, because we're together, we're just together." And that was one of the things I kind of noticed, is that it almost seems like you have to constantly renew and constantly reiterate your commitment to the thing, like staying in shape. I can't exercise one time and then be in shape forever. I got to keep on, I got to keep on renewing my vows, so to speak. Yeah. And that, to me, that right there seems like a gold mine, because I see people who think their whole relationship's going to just exist on autopilot. Well, because we're together, then everything's fine. What do y'all think about that?
Well, it is a continuous work in progress. And like Eddie said, like what I may have done last week, well, that doesn't count for tomorrow, because it's a new day, So yeah, I totally agree with them. It is a continuous work in progress.
So one of the things I was thinking about is, when you talk about that part about it being intentional about your relationship, I remember I had a friend that had, that was a real busy, she was a real busy woman, real successful, a lawyer, made a lot of money and everything else, was, one of those big law firms and everything where they work you into the ground. And I remember that she had this, it wasn't a husband, it was like a boyfriend. And I remember noticing when I was much younger, I noticed that she didn't go see him very much. It was already a long distance relationship. And I remember one time I called her and I said, "So where are you at?" She said, "Oh, I'm in Atlanta visiting my boyfriend." I said, "Oh, great. When's the last time you saw him?" She said, "Oh, about 6 months ago." And I said, "Oh, wow." I said, "So you're gonna take a cab, or is he gonna pick you up?" She said, "Oh, he's gonna pick me up, because he ain't had no booty in 6 months. So he's gonna pick me up." And I said, so you really think he ain't had no booty in 6 months, huh? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not, I don't mean to be too obvious or graphic about that, but later on, she called me and she was very distraught, I guess, because she had gone into Inspector Gadget mode and went into his computer and found all this crazy stuff that conversations he was having with these other women and everything. And basically, he had a whole life happening in Atlanta when she wasn't there. And what she thought before was that he was just this really supportive man, so she'd say, "Hey, I can't come see you till August." He'd be like, "Okay, man, I just want to support your career. I want to see you do well." And he meant it. And so she asked him, she said, "How could you do this to me? Why would you do this to me?" And he said, "Well, I didn't want to get in your way. I didn't want to interfere. You wanted, I figured you wanted me to be supportive, and I wanted to see you more, but I didn't want to be disruptive to your life and to your goals." And things. This is all a true story. And what I learned from that experience, and anybody can chime in on this, Tiara, Alicia, if you're able to come through now.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I sure can.
Okay, it's working.
So I'd like to also, because what I learned from that experience, what I learned from watching what happened with my friend, is that somebody isn't going to be connected with you or be in a relationship with you just because you're in a relationship. There has to be action. I learned that love is kind of a verb. It's not just like, oh, we just love each other, we're just together. It is each day, each week, or whatever, maybe me doing things to reiterate the connection that's necessary to maintain that relationship. Because if we don't, it seems that we'll just have, the label, but not the love. Well,
Right.
what would you say to that, Dr. Alicia? You have not spoken. This is my wonderful wife, Dr.
Hello,
Alicia Walker.
everyone.
And so I'm sure she has
Hi.
something to say about it. I don't
Hi
know if she and
there.
I have ever talked about that story before, but
Yeah, I think I've heard it all, and and I love hearing your stories. I don't care if you say it again. I still hang on every word. So that's a great story. And they didn't put their relationship first. She was putting other things first, and he was clearly not communicating to her what he needed from her, and that's not good. Why didn't they have a conflict or an argument about it? Why didn't he say, hey, I don't think you're spending enough time with me? What's going on? And, I heard Mr. Eddie talk about even when you're apart, you're together. Well, they were apart, but they clearly weren't together. So that's a breakdown of the intimacy and the connection that's required, especially when you don't have to be around each other all the time, but you can still be connected all the time.
Mm. So what are some tips? I'm kind of right in the belly of the beast. I know that the stuff she learns from the book, I become the experimental, what do they call it? Not the experimental hyena, but you know what I'm talking about. The guinea pig, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guinea pig, not the hyena, the guinea pig. But maybe Dr. Alicia, what are your thoughts in terms of tips and ways that and that this is all science here? I mean, of course, obviously we have our own marriage, but just in terms of things you've learned, what are some ways people can maintain those connections?
Well, I mean, first of all, I think it's just remarkable to find somebody that you want to get married to, that you want to sit down and eat a meal with for the rest of your life. That's a big deal. So, I mean, if anybody who has found someone like that, cheers to you for, finding someone that you feel like you can be with forever. That's a wonderful thing, but that's part of the work. The other work is after you get married and make that commitment, it's a continuous commitment. And there's a lot of things that you need to talk about and decide once you're married. You have to decide how are we going to spend holidays together? I mean, and those sort of questions take a lot of teamwork. How are you going to organize your lives around what's important? So the marriage is important. It's so important, but it's not the only thing that's important. And you have to get together and make decisions together, not alone. You got to make them together. And that's where the challenge is. The challenge is when you need to put the work in to work through issues that you're going to have in a way where you celebrate your differences in order to move closer together. And that's the intimacy part that I think is important.
Okay. All right.
That's
So
part of it.
So Tiara, I know you're not married, and I'd be curious to get your thoughts as a person who's sort of, figuring things out. What are your thoughts on not just the story I shared, but what Dr. Alicia said as well, and also what Mr. and Mrs. Huff had to say on that? Do I have to unmute her? There we go. There she is.
No, I'm unmuted, but I didn't hear your question. I'm sorry. You were going. It started to get choppy. What did you?
I was asking what is your assessment of some of the things we just shared about maintaining connection and not letting your relationship operate on autopilot?
Yeah, I think it's so important. I mean, I have a few friends that are going through that currently, and communication has been a big part of that. Just watching it, just being in relationship, I understand that it's just so important. But going back to Dede and Eddie, in terms of what I saw with them, and all of our couples really, just they seem to have a real handle on the work. As Dr. Alicia was saying, the work that's so important. But I think as I'm watching the couples and understanding what it takes, I mean, all of it is work, but good work. When I hear Eddie speak, it's just like he enjoys all of the work that is required to maintain his relationship with Dede. He enjoys every moment of her. That's what when I was at their house, I totally got that. I totally got that they just really, they had figured something special out that I think that, we all have an opportunity to figure out when we meet our special person.
Okay. So, you know what? I want to ask everybody in the room. I want to do a quick little poll, and actually, you know what? I'm not going to do the poll just yet. I'll do it in 1 second. But I want to let everybody know what's going on tonight. We're actually going to show part 3 of the new film project, Till Death Do Us Part. Tierra is the director, and we decided to break the film up into 6 pieces so that we could really take it in slowly but surely and take in every couple story. And I wanted us to sort of think about this this general theme that the people that have built these family structures, these important institutions in our community, these are the people that we should be learning from. And it's important to understand that, because when you talk about things like racism or economic inequality or all these other things, it comes down to a lack of community power. And community power is linked to institutions. So what people have to understand is that the way the Black community was destabilized was they said, we need to destroy all the institutions that we possibly can. So that means that we're going to destroy all the civil rights organizations. We're going to undermine the Black Panthers. Remember that, why did they infiltrate things like the Black Panthers? Well, they said if we destroy the organization, we can destroy the movement. So we'll put drugs in the community. We'll do a lot of things to destabilize. And the biggest institution they destroyed, besides the civil rights groups and the Black-owned businesses and the Black schools that used to have Black teachers, is the last bastion was really the family. The family is the institution that some of us were able to grow up in, that we couldn't live without. And then some of us didn't have that institution. And that's within a generation or so. Go back 2 generations, you had a strong family institution. And then something happens between, say, the 70s and the 80s and whatnot. And now things are a lot different. So I want everybody to kind of understand that this is really a power play. Family and organization and being able to work together is extremely important. This is something that you must be intentional about. There are skills and tool sets that you can pick up on. I had Dr. Nicole Price on here the other day, and I'll tell y'all, the only thing Dr. Price talked about was how you can get along with a group of people so you can achieve a common goal. Because everybody's fighting and arguing and breaking up and getting mad, and not just breaking up with a romantic partner, but just breaking up with your friends. Some of y'all broke up with your friends. He voted for Donald Trump. I can't stand that Negro. But Donald Trump ain't coming by to help y'all pay no bills. Joe Biden is not going to come through and protect your family and protect your community, right? So we have to find a way to be able to still maintain those important connections so that we can build something better. So let me go a little deeper then, because just so y'all know, the film is kind of getting ready. I'm in the hotel room, so we're working with some sketchy Wi-Fi. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed, hoping that we can show everything like we're supposed to. But I want us to make sure we have a rich and fulfilling conversation. So let me ask Dr. Alicia. So in terms of the film Till Death Do Us Part, and the couples that Tierra identified, Black couples that have been married over 30 years. What have you, just as a relationship therapist and couples counselor, what have you seen maybe in some of your sessions that you feel that conversations like this can help address in terms of big problems that you see with a lot of couples where opportunities were missed because relationships weren't able to maintain themselves?
What do you mean? You mean like, can you say that question again? Almost like you think things would have been better had the relationship been more solid, or things had been more on a better foot? Or
generally speaking, what have you seen in therapy that we should look out for? Like, what are some things, I think about couples that really love each other, but they just can't figure out a way to get along. What are some things that maybe in terms of big mistakes you've seen?
Yeah, well, I mean, one thing, you need to be flexible and you need to be able to compromise. There's so many people that just like, they put their foot down. They say, I'm not going to budge on this at all. And then you have a very frustrated spouse who's just like, how come they're not wanting to meet me eye to eye and gain some common ground? I see a lot of those frustrations where it's usually one or both. It's worse when you see both of them, that none of them want to give, and they get into this gridlock. And it's really tough to kind of break some of that down. And just the idea of compromise. And I'm not going to point out that it's not necessarily gender related. Sometimes it can be men And sometimes it can be women that just say, I grew up in a household where I saw two people interact with each other and neither one of them compromised very well. One person, they were very stubborn. They weren't willing to listen to their partner and they weren't able to make adjustments at all. And it was very volatile in those households. And so, we get into that. We say, well, is that what you want, for your relationship? How can you become a way more flexible so that both of you all can work together? I mean, it seems obvious to me, but they want to win. And so I say, what is it? What do you want to do? Do you want to be happy or do you want to win all the time? And that's a real decision. You can't make I think a lot of times the romance dies once you get married and you start eating good meals and you unbuckle your pants at night and you just let that romance die, that passion die. It doesn't have to die. You really need to work on it. It doesn't just come naturally like it did at the beginning. So that's one thing that I think couples tend to take for granted. And accepting each other and learning about each other and accepting each other and being friends with each other, like really being good friends. Like if something exciting happens to you, your spouse should be the very first person that you need to go to say, look what cool thing happened to me, because you got each other. The kids in the house, like, I say this all the time, these kids are going to grow up and leave, and we're just going to have each other. So we come first and then everything else has to fall along the side.
Okay, so I'd like to ask Mr. Huff in particular, just to start on this. I talk to a lot of men who, kind of look at relationships as kind of like the way to be the man all the time is that you get what you want, and you can't, and that if you are flexible and compromise, that you're being weak, And I'd be curious to know, have you ever seen that kind of thing, and what advice would you give to a young man that says, I really want to, if I meet the right woman, I really want to get along with her? Is there any thoughts in terms of how we can change our behavior as men, especially, I know as a man and I imagine women have some of this as well, that where you just get used to doing what you want to do, the way you want to do it, whenever you want to do it. And changing is really hard. What advice would you give to young men who are thinking about tying the knot?
What I think that most people, if they really understand love, that means they have the love within. And they know there's a void there, because it's one thing to love yourself. It's another thing to be loved because of who you are. And when your natural magnetism runs into the mate that becomes your life mate, the first thing you wouldn't want to do, like when you get your first kiss, for example, you don't want to give them an average kiss. Who wants an average mate? Who wants an average kiss? Who wants an average day? Nobody wants average. So when you approach your mate, you better be having your A game about passion, about love. What is love? And put it in the active state, and your behavior saying love. Guess what? That turns people on. Someone that you love and you emit love, and you put that smile on them. You don't give them an average smile, you give them a smile. A smile that could kind of light up the room. And in turn, when you get one back, now we're talking without using words. Ain't nothing like that good old body language. And when young men and young women are not paying attention and communicating completely with all of their self from the inside out, and you want to bring goodness, you don't want, like, you see somebody and they all frowning and look like they got an attitude. Is that turning you on? I don't think so. So light up the room with that kindness. I mean, emit qualities that will make the person that you're sending that vibe to not only see you, but begin to see you from the inside, see that inside. And she'll be able to recognize goodness. Guess what? That's gonna make her comfortable, make her want to hug you. Ain't nothing better. Don't want an average hug now. You want a hug. You don't want an average kiss, and you don't want an average attitude. You want an attitude that's all in. And if you're not all in, you can't expect to get all in. So I say to young folks, be a true communicator from the inside out.
I like that. So I guess the best follow-up on that is Mrs. Huff. If you were talking to a young woman that's, 20s, maybe 30s, and says, I'm thinking about getting married and I met the one and I want it to last, what are some things you would say to her?
Wow. She wants it to last. First of all, are you ready? Are you ready, for this relationship? Are you ready to, put into it? Or are you ready to give of yourself in this relationship? Like me personally, I love being married. Okay. So it's easy for me to be married because, I just love being married. I think that, wow.
She's
I'm not the talker. He's the talker. Okay.
No, what I share with you that I know about my wife
What?
is that she needs to prepare for questions like that. she just can't let it.
I'm not
But
off the cuff kind of, I'm the one, you ask me a question. Okay, let me think about it for a minute. I get back with you in a few seconds.
Okay, well, you know what?
How
about I'm gonna ask that question again after the film's over, so you can have the time of the film to think about it. How's that, Mrs.
Okay, that'll work. That'll work.
Okay, that's what we'll do. We'll come back to you on that. And so,
Okay.
So let me ask everybody in the audience a question. I'm going to put a poll up. It's not a perfect poll, but it's a quick one. I want to know how many of you are single, married, or in a long-term relationship. And actually, so put yourself in one of the three boxes, either single or short-term, or in a long-term relationship or married. So I'm going to put this poll up now, and y'all can just answer it right there. You should see it on the screen. Do you guys see that? There we go. Okay, the answers are coming in. All right, single short-term is leading 49%, married is 37%, long-term relationship 15%. All right, and everybody answer the poll. Everybody answer. Come on. All right. So I'm gonna leave it up here for another 8 seconds. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.5, 1.25,
Maybe
1, and done. All right, so I'm gonna show you guys the poll results. In this audience, we have 50% of you are single or in a short-term relationship, meaning maybe I didn't even define short-term precisely. Let's say a few months, right? 17% of you are in a long-term relationship, and 34% of you are married. Okay, that's so it's about a third. Okay, good. And I just asked that just to get a sense of where everybody is. And it seems to me, Tiara, that that really sort of figuring out where you want to fit in this society. I don't know. It seems to me that the world's got more complex over time, where it seemed like there was maybe a time 30, 40 years ago where everybody just got married. That was the goal. That's what you did. That was it. Now things are different. What are your thoughts? I mean, do you think that makes things better or worse? I mean, where you don't have, because it seems like a lot of people are confused, and then there's mixed signals, like we got together and I thought we were headed to marriage, but your destination was something different from mine. What's that like for Black women, young Black women like you who are meeting and dating and doing, living your life?
Yeah. I think that, obviously there is, the ratio, what are we? I mean, 8-1 in terms of, if you're looking for a Black man, there's more women than there is men, unless you go outside of your race, of course. And what I've noticed though is just a lot of social media makes it really hard to date anybody seriously. Because if you're in a relationship with somebody, there is just so much access to people and what you might be missing out on, and flirting and people in your DM and all of that. And I think that couples is, if you're not ready, And if you're not in a situation where you feel like you met the one, you're like, okay, I talked to her, but I'm gonna still, entertain the girls or the whoever on the side. So I think it's just harder. I mean, it feels like with all of the distractions, and it just feels a little harder, for women to date. And then there's also women who are successful and educated, and they have this long list of things that they need from a man. He got to be 6'2", he got to be educated, he can't be a felon, he can't be this, he can't be that, he has to, there's just, and I just don't think that that's reality. I mean, a lot of our good Black men come out of jail, and they might have went in for whatever reason, and they come out and they're reformed and they are trying to get their lives back together. And just, so I just think that there's a lot to consider.
So Dr. Alicia, when you see your clients, has social media come up just as a part of the conversation that can maybe complicate relationships? What are you seeing just on the therapist front?
Yeah, I mean, social media is definitely an issue because really social media is an issue because, some couples want to spend time with their partner and they're always on social media. So sometimes they feel like they have to compete with that. Like, seriously, that does come up. It's not, Boyce, I don't feel that way about you necessarily, but
She's
yeah,
lying, y'all.
I really don't.
Her and Mrs. Huff making stuff up. Go ahead.
We're not making. And by the way, Mrs. Huff did for some reason, I felt her answer, because you want to be married to somebody who likes marriage. Why would you want to marry somebody that has terrible views about marriage? Like, go be single then, if we're going to continue that. You want someone who's ready to make that type of commitment. And in terms of modern marriages, I mean, that's the time that we're in. These modern marriages, it makes it way more difficult because now you have two working people in the household. A married couple together. How are you going to navigate household chores? How are you going to take care of children when both of you all are working? What happens? Who's cooking? Who's cleaning? Typically it falls on the woman. And it's a lot. So it's a lot of pressure on women nowadays, Black women in particular, but I think just all women, married women, especially when there's children, just navigating, managing household, managing everything, and also going to work and having the responsibilities, financial responsibilities, because you need a two-income household nowadays to make ends meet. And a lot of women get burned out. And they can't take it anymore once they're married and they feel like they've been taken for granted. You get in your 40s and you have a midlife crisis and you're off somewhere, so I've seen of that happen a lot, and trying to get women to get their voice back and to work through some of the resentment that happens because you're managing so much. That sort of thing is a real issue, and it is a very unique challenge with modern marriages now. It's looking different from how our grandparents were. I mean, my grandparents were married. My grandmother didn't work unless she had to, unless she wanted to. She didn't have to work. And so those sort of arrangements are different now, and it puts extra pressure. And not only that, but Black women also have the pressure not only of holding the household together, but emotionally holding the household together. It's like, what happened to you? So your husband comes home, you find out what's going on with him at work. Then you take on the responsibilities of everybody else in the family, the children, and your own sort of emotional burden. It's usually on the Black woman to hold all of that together, and it puts a lot of pressure on it.
Mm-hmm. What I was thinking about is and I'll share something. One of the thoughts that I had when I decided I wanted to marry Alicia, and I'll say I didn't want to marry anybody else. I was okay with not being married, but she's the person that I felt like, the question I always asked myself was, I said, okay, and I ask this every time. I'd say, okay, if this person wasn't here anymore, do I think I could find another pathway to be this happy again? Somebody that was just as good, so to speak, whatever the case may be. And she was the one case where I said, no, the answer is no. This woman is irreplaceable to me. And I don't want to let her go, right? So we got married, and I didn't let anybody tell me what my process was supposed to be. I'm not a person that follows rules very well, because I find that rules are a great way to be unhappy if they're the wrong rules for you. And so one of the other things that I believe, and we don't have this perfect. We haven't been married in a long time. I can just only tell you about my decision-making process. I believe in things like therapy because I believe that a big percentage of Black people we just butt naked crazy. I think a lot of us are just out of our mind. Us, I'm talking about us, meaning me, because think about it. Think about all the stuff we deal with that nobody else really deals with. The stuff I grew up with, working through your own issues and stuff. And I said, okay, I'm gonna try to minimize the amount of my crazy that disrupts my relationship, with this woman. So I was on board, to get a therapist from the beginning. I said, let's just get one for preventative maintenance, right? It's like if you got a car that's running and it's running just fine, why not have a mechanic around, just to check it out every now and make sure all the engines and systems are working right. And that's what we do. So we started seeing somebody from the very beginning of our relationship, and I liked it. And what was required was for me was I realized that if I had not been open to it, it would have been hard for her to even get me to consider something like that. And if she had not been open to it, it would be hard. And so I would almost say to anybody that's single, I'm not that I'm the person that's an expert on any of this. I don't think anybody understands all this, but I would definitely say that there's a lot of flexibility in your thinking that's required for you to really make something work with another person. And I don't really know how. I think if you try to do a game like this, like it's like that game. Remember that game Twister, where you twisted everything? You got to be flexible to play Twister. And sometimes marriage can feel like Twister. Even a relationship feels like Twister. And you don't want to play Twister with an inflexible person. It's not fun. You're going to do all that twisting. You're going to have to twist for yourself and then twist for them too. Right. And so that therapist, one thing the therapist said that I thought was great was that I really processed was he asked us a question. One time me and Alicia were having a disagreement and and he just said, what are the rules of this relationship? And I said, what? And I thought about it. He said, what are the rules of this relationship? I had to go really think about that. And when I thought about it, I said, okay, I think I get it now. I believe that in this crazy world we live in where everything is changing. I believe 50 years ago, there was a consistency about how the rules went. This is what the man does. This is what the woman does. That's it. Now it's like women might be over here, men over there, and people get confused, And so I think that anybody that's choosing to line up with another person, you gotta sit together and say, okay, what are the rules gonna be? What game are we playing? How are we gonna play the game? And that actually fits into when Dr. Price was on here earlier talking about how people can get along with each other, how groups can work together. She said you got to have three things in common that you understand in order for your group to operate. One, you must have a common goal. So that means that if I'm in a relationship with you, if I think I want to get married, I got to make sure you got the same goal as me. Because if I think we get married and you think we're going to have a 2-week fling, then we're not in alignment. The second thing you have to agree on is the roles. Okay, what's my role? What am I going to do in the household? And what are you going to do in the household or in the relationship? And I don't think there has to be I don't think those roles should come from other people. I really don't. I think that you should make your own rules that work with you and the person you're with. And then the third thing that Dr. Price said is you have to agree on the process. Like, okay, this is what we're going to do. This is what I'm going to do. This is what you're going to do. And this is how we're going to do this together. And I think little things like that, holding on to that, gives you a tool to kind of figure it out. Because I think it's confusing. I don't know, Mr. and Mrs. Huff, did y'all feel confusion in terms of figuring out how things are supposed to work? Or did you feel like you kind of just knew it in the beginning? What was your process for that?
I think we looked at our strengths and our weaknesses. And he went with his strengths and I went with my strengths. And we're different in a lot of ways, but it brings balance in the relationship. So, his strengths are different from mine. And that had a lot to do with the roles that we played, in the relationship and in the household. He does laundry. I hate doing laundry. And that's okay. I think he likes it. You like doing laundry?
I like everybody stepping up and doing what we ought to do. I don't think we need to have it always defined. Yeah, I think when you know too much about how your day is going, you're overthinking it, if you will, instead of just letting your day flow. Like when you're by yourself, if you got dirty clothes, you got to do the laundry. When you get hungry, you go eat. Or you gonna wait till you're starving before you try to fix a meal? And you know, when you really care about somebody, you already know how to care about yourself. So now you care about somebody. Now talk is cheap. Where's the behavior that goes with it? And I think so many couples lose their way because they forget. You know, like when a man sees a woman that he believes is attractive. Now, if you've got the love of your life, she better be attractive to you. So are your eyes saying she's beautiful? You don't have to use the words all the time, but where's the behavior that goes to show the love without actually, to me, it should be like breathing. Nobody thinks about breathing, they just breathe. And if you're not breathing, you know what that is. So the bottom line is we get a lot of people turning love into work. I don't know about you. I love the idea of love because what love has done is made me powerful. I'm a powerful person. And when I put my love on her, she becomes powerful too. And together we something else. So what kind of couple, what kind of life do we want? We want as much as we're supposed to have out of life. And when God takes me off this planet and I'm going beyond, I don't know what that is. But while I'm here, I'm going to be a man that was loved like no other. And I'm going to get it from her. And how I'm going to do that? I'm going to be every day in harmony with connecting to her and showing her without telling her. And then when I tell her, she really gets it because she can feel it. I'm going to make her feel me.
Wow.
See? And so I just say, I hear a lot of people when it comes to relationships and how much work it is. You know what? If it's work, then maybe you're approaching it totally wrong. Because if you understand love, you're talking about becoming more powerful. You're talking about getting out of yourself and into someone else's soul and their spirit. And you're going to share the most intimate part with them. How can that be work? It can only be a challenge. And it's going to take both of y'all to make it happen. But then what's going to end up happening is you're going to be like Romeo and Juliet. You're going to be a story that if people could know your story, you're going to have an experience that the world would wish they had too. So if you're not in a relationship and other people around you look at you and they can look at your mate and they don't see like, man, there's something special going on. I want some of that. You know, it's just like, you know, I think that that's what people are not going after. To me, when you get God's plan and he puts a man and a woman together, he gives you a life mate. And then you're going to do what with it? You're going to just be like, not reach and actually let the creative, you know, there's an artistic side to us. And then there's the logical side to us. Well, you know what? The logical side of your mate got to connect with your artistic side. And your artistic side, your logical side got to connect with her artistic side. And you got to have some fabulous stuff going on. And then that way it stays exciting, it stays interesting, and it ceases to be this work y'all keep talking about, because I don't be working to make it with her. I'll just be having a good time.
Wow.
And I feel the love. Every time he does the laundry, I feel the love. Okay.
Oh, wow. I love it. I love it. I love it. And y'all smile a lot. I noticed that. I think that's really great too. I think that's what everybody loves. I assume y'all love them. Everybody who's watching, I'm sure. I assume y'all think this is a wonderful couple the way I do. And I'll tell you what. Some of y'all are watching also on YouTube. We're about to actually show this film, and I need y'all to help me out. Give me a yes in the chat once we start it to let me know that you can hear it and see it. Okay, like just say I can see it, I can hear it. That way I won't have to stop it or anything like that. And also, those of you watching on YouTube, if you want to come in, we're not going to show the film publicly on YouTube because of copyright issues and things like that. So if you would like to watch the film, you can watch it for free, but you got to register at blackmovienight.net. That's blackmovienight.net. Just come on in. We'll be in the building and you guys can come in and enjoy this film. And this is part 3 of Till Death Do Us Part. There are 6 parts to it. And we will do the next part on the 12th at 8 p.m. And that's when we're going to get back together. This is you could call this almost like a Black Love Masterclass because our community needs it. And we want to be there for you in every way that we can. And also, everybody, I want to mention one more thing to you guys, just as a quick housekeeping thing. The All Black National Convention is at the end of October. It's at the end of October. And this year, we're not just going to have breakout sessions on everything from crypto to stocks and real estate. We're going to cover all that. But also, we're going to have panels on politics, panels on hip hop, things like that. There are tons of people are coming, tons of your favorite people that you see all over the place. Also, we're actually this year going to try things like speed dating. We're going to have speed dating. So if you are single and looking for somebody in the B1 community that you might, want to hang out with, we'll be doing that. But we're also going to have kind of a business version of speed dating where you can find people you can do business with. So whether you're looking for a romantic hookup or an economic hookup, we're going to hook you up with the hookup. And also, we're going to do a masquerade ball and an awards show, Black Excellence Awards. And I owe this to the creativity of the team. And in case you are a person that is really on the move, I'll give you the dates real quick so you can mark it on your calendar. Clear your calendar for the end of October. It's the last weekend of October. And also the hotel is going to be in Orlando. So that last weekend, the 29th through the 1st, Friday through Monday, that's the whole convention. You don't have to stay for the whole time, but that's how long we're going to be there. And I'm actually going to share the link with you guys. The hotel is beautiful. It's very family friendly. There's a million things to do on the resort. It's the most beautiful place we have ever hosted the convention. The tickets will go on sale next week. If you want to reserve your hotel, I just put the link to our discounted hotel rooms right there in the chat. So copy that link and just click on that link and you can go there and you can buy your tickets now, or also it's going to link also to abnchotel.com. So we decided that since the regular tickets are not on sale yet, we would go ahead and let you guys that are really, in and ready to go. You can go ahead and reserve your rooms. We're going to run out of rooms. So you may want to go and reserve your room now and then, but clear out your calendar. 29th through the 1st at the end of October. Okay. All right. So are you guys ready? You guys ready to watch Till Death Do Us Part? All right. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and hit this button. And again, I'm going to need y'all's help because we're in a hotel and sometimes hotel Wi-Fi gets a little bit shady. So I'm hoping that we won't have any issues, no technical difficulties, but we're going to get through this. We're going to make it work. Black-owned movies are being made. I'm super proud of everybody that did this project. And so give me 1 second. I'm going to share my screen and everybody on YouTube, go to blackmovienight.net. That's blackmovienight.net, and you can watch the film. And I'm gonna shut down that live stream now. And also, my guests, if you all would mind maybe shutting off your video, and we can come back in after the film is done. So maybe hit a little button and turn the video and the audio off. And I will now play the film and share my audio. And give me a yes if you're able to hear everything the way it should. And once I get the yeses, the verbal confirmation, I'll make it full screen. So right now, I'm not gonna make it full screen so I can see the chat. But but for right now, and actually, I'm gonna turn off my video right quick. Hold on, let me see. There we go. I'm gonna turn off my video. All right, so here we go. Give me a yes if you can hear and it's all coming through okay.
Those are people saying yes. Where do you, yes. Oh, well, everybody's going yes. I can see better.
Oh, that's what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Dede Huff, and I'm married to Eddie, and we have been married for 38 years. I grew up in a household, it's my mom and my dad, And I don't know, I guess I've always been a romantic. And I love the idea of being married, even when I was young. Don't ask me why. But I don't know, like little girls, when you fantasize about getting married, and I'm going to grow up and have this many kids. Well, that was me.
I never viewed life without marriage, but at the same token, I never thought, I can't wait till I grow up and get married. I never thought like that. I do believe in the concept of the ideal of love. Love is, I like love movies. I like the way a good love story goes. No matter what trauma or challenges they face in a relationship, they find a way to come together and deal with it. I like that.
I met my first husband when I was in high school. I lived in Germany, and he was in the military at the time. He was assigned in Germany where we lived, my family lived. I met him, we dated. He asked me to marry him while we were in Germany. And I said yes.
I met my ex-wife at my house. My sister brought her home from school with her. And I figured if my sister brought her home, she had to be okay or good. So she was a very attractive woman. That's all that I needed at the time. I was 18, 19 years old. We started talking and I just thought she looked good. And I figured over time that she would see my value as well, And I think that she thought I looked good as well. So we were two people who thought each other looked good. Then we got involved, got intimate pretty quick. And my eldest son, was on the way in no time at all. Before May of 71, we were married. She didn't want me to have anything to do with it. Now, I got along with her people fine. So we didn't last long. Child support, here we come.
He was 4 years older than me. I was happy, I was excited, straight out of high school. I was young, but I had not had the opportunity to get to know me, to get to know myself, because I literally went from a controlled environment from my parents' household into this full-grown man's household. And I had not finished growing up. So there I was, married, kind of sad, depressed, lonely. I missed my family. He was in the military. I was just kind of sad. I wasn't happy. But I didn't know I wasn't happy until I found myself in that situation.
Came home from work or something. I was in front of the house that we lived at. And I just sat down on the curb and tears started flowing down my cheeks. It was like I was stuck. I wanted to be grown, but I wasn't. It dawned on me that I was getting ready to do to my kids what I went through, which was basically, I wasn't going to be there for them. We were breaking up. I knew we were not going to make it, and it wasn't supposed to happen. In my first relationship, I basically was in a lust relationship, I guess is the best way to define it. We had intimacy, but no communication. We both lacked maturity. And our perception of what marriage was helped us to fail quickly.
I don't know, we would make up, we'd break up, we'd make up, we'd break up. It seemed like every time we got back together, we didn't get along. But when we separated, we were like the best of friends. Okay, we got along great. And then we thought, okay, we'll try it again and get back together. We never divorced. We would just separate back and forth, get back together, and we'd have problems.
February of 78, someone told me to go into the recruitment station. I went in there, the Air Force guy stood up, and that's when it was the beginning of taking time to discover who Eddie really is and appreciating what God had gave me as a life.
I eventually ended up joining the military because when we were together initially, I was not in the Air Force. But I eventually joined and I thought, okay, this will be great, because I didn't have a career. I just had jobs while we were together. And I thought, okay, if I join the military, then, we can travel together, see the world, and it would change everything, our relationship. But that's not what changes your relationship. That's something you have to do yourself. That's, you have to be in sync with one another.
I understood I had no business picking my own mate. So I said, God, when I'm worthy and I'm being the man that I'm supposed to be, you pick her. I was just going to a Halloween party and I was supposed to meet this friend and we were just going to hang out together. But when I get to the party, it was a dark area in the party and it was people back there. And I looked over and it was like lights were on my wife. I didn't know she was my wife for the future. It was just this beautiful black woman in this crazy looking Patti LaBelle, black and silver, had wings.
I made my costume, okay? I had, it was made out of cardboard, aluminum foil, leggings, and it was crazy, but I guess it got his attention.
When I first put my eyes on my future wife, I knew she was somebody special. I just went over there and I started telling her all my business.
We spent a lot of time together that night, and he brought out all the skeletons in his closet. He was telling me everything. I liked it. As a matter of fact, I think it's one of the things that attracted me to him, the fact that he was so open with his past, with his history. He was, sharing all of that information with me. During this time, I had just broken up with my boyfriend. I mean, literally 25 days before I met Eddie. I was not looking for anybody. I had just had a baby by my boyfriend. I was ready to move on and get on with my life when I met Eddie. So no, I was not expecting to meet him at that point in my life. I thought it was just gonna be me and my baby. Eddie and I got serious really quickly. I met him Halloween night. The next day, he was picking me up at my parents' house to go to church with him. And the day after that, we were going to my sister's house for a barbecue.
And from the moment that we met at the Vacaville party, I don't think we were always together from then on. When I met my wife, I was grown and I knew. And when I met my wife, I knew she was grown. So that's what the real difference was. We were two grown people that had no time to waste. And we looked at each other and I think we could see into each other's soul. We just knew that we had the necessary ingredients to build a relationship.
I was ready to marry him. And I knew, it was like being with him for that period of time. I knew he was the one.
I think that it was clear to both me and my wife that we were going to get married. But I was waiting to get the ring and stuff. And then I was going to do what I interpreted, I'd see probably more on TV than anything, how you ought to propose. I was going to do something that's already there.
He said something about getting married.
The right person.
And I was like, well, okay, then let's get married now. If you're going to marry me, then we don't need to put this off. I don't need an engagement. Let's just get married.
I was with her and we were going to the face exchange. And my wife pulled out her Visa card, buys 2 wedding bands, and said, let's go get married.
And then we went to Reno and the Lord.
For the most part, she was an extremely confident person who understood and knew what she wanted. And when she sprung going to Reno on me, I said, man, this woman was crazier than me. That's what I thought. Hey, you always. And we got what they call joint spouse. We got assigned together in Illinois.
The reason he wanted that assignment was because he wanted to be close to his children. He had trouble seeing his children when he was away. So, and all this transpired before we even met.
Typically, when I went to pick up the kids from my ex-wife, there was always an issue. I couldn't get it.
We talked to the mother, and I think at that point, there were things going on in her life, and it was a convenient time for the kids to stay with us. So we were able to keep the kids. We had established such a good relationship with the kids, and we had done so well. The kids, I mean, like their grades were like, you know, they were doing really good in school.
My wife kept those kids busy. She would sign them up for stuff. They were busy doing stuff. And when I couldn't go, she was there making sure that they did whatever it was at school, after school, in the summer. My daughter, Holly, my oldest daughter, she was pretty challenging and would point out all these different things. My mama don't do this, my mama don't do that. My wife just dealt with my daughter. My son, as long as he got something to eat, he was good. He didn't care. So she handled pretty well the running of the house. So I felt loved. My kids felt loved. I don't think anybody in the household, there was harmony in our house. She didn't say a lot, but whatever she said, it was effective, because I don't ever remember the kids coming back to me pointing out what they didn't appreciate about her and what she had to say or do. They never came to me and told on her. So that right there was proof she was handling her business. And we didn't really have too many issues with the kids. They just kind of fell in line. I think they enjoyed the idea that we all lived good. We all lived better collectively together than we ever had. We had the best life for all of us.
I don't think I was a very good communicator, and he would let me know that sometimes. So that would be a problem.
Hey, everybody, I'm going to go ahead and pause for 1 minute because I think I have to mute. I think we have some, now let me know for you guys, are you guys able to hear it? I know this is not the perfect setup, but are you all able to hear okay? Give me a yes in the chat if you can hear the movie and all that stuff. Okay, if you can hear, then all right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get it started again right now. Sorry, it says please just mute. Yes, I will mute. All right, so I'm gonna get everything started again right now. So hold on, give me a second. Okay, let's see here. All right, boys, don't mess it up, boys. Don't mess it up. There we go.
Very challenging at times getting her to talk, because she needs time to put it all together and prepare and then tell.
I do like to think about things before I speak, because whatever comes out of my mouth, I'm gonna have to live with it. I'm gonna have to hear about it. So Eddie is a talker. He loves to talk. Nobody is a stranger. His knowledge on history, on life, his confidence, the way he carries himself in a conversation. Sometimes it can be intimidating and overwhelming, but I've learned so much from him. I think that came from the fact that I was always shy, a shy person growing up. When I first meet people, I was never, aggressive with my conversation. I'd sit back, listen until I felt comfortable enough with that person to have a conversation.
There's a fulfillment that goes with when you really love somebody. And you don't always have to use words. It's not just the physical intimacy, but the wholeness that comes from being with a like man.
There was just no way I could be married to him and not talk to him, not communicate. And even to this day, it's still a work in progress, because I don't think that I'm the best communicator, and I still like to think about things. I still like, hold up, wait a minute, I can get with you on that. So It's still a work in progress.
Yeah, my mom and dad were married, and I have 5 sisters, or had 5 sisters and 1 brother. And what I learned about relationships from my parents is, I think my mom was trying to fix my dad. And I really believe most people would have better success if they pursued relationships by first having a great one with themselves and appreciate who they are. And then it prepares them to know how to treat someone else.
He will see things in a person and share parts of his life with you because he feels that whatever it is he's speaking, you will gain some knowledge or some benefit from it. He's constantly trying to help people, and he does it sincerely from the heart.
I think that if you're not actually motivated to first really understand things about yourself, you're not ready for a mate. So many people never get that part done. One of the blessings I was given is I was gifted with understanding how important it is to share your soul. Kindness matters. Respect matters. Being consistent, getting up every day, being how you're supposed to be, treating others the way you're supposed to. For me, it's not 38 years, it's moments. How long is a lifetime? It's a blink of an eye, and a person's life is over. So while you're still here, what you gonna do with that moment? You got this beautiful person in front of you. You don't know what to do? You must be confused. I know what to do.
And sometimes he'll look at me and I'll look at him and we just start laughing. I don't think I had any expectations. I think I just enjoyed him. I enjoyed being married to him. I enjoyed being with him. And when I wasn't with him, I couldn't wait to be with him. So it wasn't like I was thinking, okay, I'm going to have, this happen or that happen or this. I was just living my life and loving it.
And I guess you could say that I just enjoyed the relationship for the first time in my life, to be with someone that you're supposed to be with. And we just made the most of each other. I had a lot of fun all the time. Even going to work, I look forward to coming home. At work, I was able to focus, but at the same token, I thought about it. And when I went away, I was always anxious to get back. So yeah, that's our relationship is just full of energy and surprise.
One of the things that I do love about him is that he kisses me when he leaves. He kisses me when he comes back. And he kisses me after he kisses me.
We do a lot of kissing. How about that? I think it's more important to kiss after the kiss than the first kiss.
Do you remember the first kiss?
They were all good. I mean, I think what it is they merged into one. I feel like I'm kissing you right now. She is a planning master.
Me?
Yeah. We're not doing anything without a plan. She is planning. And that preparation proves to be interesting. I never know how it's going to turn out. I just go with the flow.
That's another thing I like about him. He lets me do stuff and he will go with the flow. The most embarrassing thing I've done in front of him. Why are you laughing?
It ain't just one thing. I think we both are at different times. We don't really push each other's emotional buttons enough to even notice the emotional stuff. I don't know. Since the day I met her, I've been in love, so I don't know.
You know, like, which one of us, did you fall in love with me or did I fall in love with you first? It happens so fast. I understand that sometimes you don't get it right the first time. Eddie is my second husband, and I got it right this time.
I think it's so unfair a lot of times when you're selfish and you do what you want. And that selfishness sometimes leads to some major challenges. But then again, I have to go through all of that in order to get where I got to. So I have to do it again.
Whatever we went through in our lives before we met was necessary in order to prepare us for each other when we did meet.
Mm-hmm. Looking forward to tomorrow. How about that?
To have and to hold.
From this day forward,
For better, for worse,
for richer, for poor,
in sickness and in health,
to love and to cherish.
till death do us part.
Okay, baby. How about we just do it after death too? Till death do us part.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Yay. Sorry, let me turn this off. Sorry. Well, hey, everybody. Let me turn my video back on. All right. So what do you guys think? Did you guys enjoy it? All right. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the story. I enjoyed everything I saw on the screen. I had a really good time. And I'll tell you, y'all got, I think between the two of y'all, just those magnetic smiles you have, and Eddie's just got this great personality, and Mrs. Huff is just so, you two are just so much fun to talk to. And I was taking notes as I was watching. You know, everybody knows this is a master class, and I hope you all, first of all, say thank you to Tierra KJ Williams, who just, you know, was the mastermind behind the project and did this wonderful work. And Tierra and I have been friends for over about 10 years now. And we've worked on a lot of things together. We actually did a Raising a Black Scholar and some other things. And I'm super honored to have the chance to work with you, because I think that this, you know, it's nice to be able to have a chance to change some lives. I know that the things that people see here, they're implementing this in their homes, and this is making a big difference, because you're talking about building legacy. You know, what you do right now isn't just affecting you, it's affecting your kids, your grandkids, your great grandkids. You're setting traditions and trends and patterns and things that are going to be repeated, because I know that in my own life, when I'm thinking about what I want to do next, I look at what my parents did, right? And they looked at what their parents did, right? So let's start with, let me start by asking Tierra, how did you feel watching you work on screen? I know that artists are typically self-critical and real nervous. What did that feel like for you?
Well, it was bittersweet, because of course I'm looking at all the things. I'm in the chat, like, can everybody hear? You know, were there some issues? Were there, I'm looking at all the things, just making sure that you guys are getting this.
Oh, sorry. That was the white lady in the clouds. I realized I didn't hit the record button. I didn't know she's gonna blow up my spot, but go ahead.
Yeah, that's hilarious. So, but I wanted people to really get, I know, from on the surface level, it can seem that, Eddie and Dede have this, they have this perfect union, and I feel like they do, but all of their issues were before they actually met one another. And so it's different from our other couples, because everything that they went through, all the mistakes were made really early, and then they found one another, and then it was kind of bliss after that. They could appreciate all of the things. So, I mean, I just really, I'm just grateful to Dede and Eddie, wherever you are. I can't see you guys right now, but I'm super grateful for you guys. You shared your story, you shared your love. Dede did a great job, as you can see. So, she was talkative. So, but yeah, I just hope that you were inspired as I was watching them. I think Eddie is a book of, I feel like Eddie is a philosopher. If he is not, he needs to, he just has all these great gems about life. I have so much footage of just Eddie talking about love and self-love, and he's big on self-love and big on loving the self before you can love another person, and how to treat yourself and treat other people. And I loved it. I love them. So thank you guys so much for participating. We appreciate you, and thank you for sharing your beautiful story.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I noticed something that I know my wife has a lot to say about, which was that you had a blended family, Mr. and Mrs. Huff. When I first asked you how many kids you had, it took you a moment to say, okay, well, this is what had happened. We got this many over here that, and that's a pretty common for a lot of our families. There's a lot of blend. I think the majority of the families in our community are blended. And so, Dr. Alicia, I'll let you kind of chime in terms of what you've seen there, what you were seeing with the Huffs, and then we can go to Mr. and Mrs. Huff after that. What did you see, Dr. Alicia, from what you saw on screen with the Huffs? And then anything you want to add about the blended family aspect of their relationship? What are your thoughts?
Okay, well, one thing about this couple is that Eddie, how you allowed yourself to become so vulnerable with Dede, I think is so remarkable. Where did you come from? I don't know. Usually it's very difficult for men to lower their guard like that. It must have been something in her that made you want to do that. That is really what set the tone for the journey. I mean, you guys have been through such a journey, and marriage is a journey, and you've been through it together. So I want to comment on that. I really love the fact that you made yourself vulnerable and lowered your guard, and that is important to have that type of connection with each other. I also love the comment about how you just said, hey, okay, God, find somebody perfect for me. And you did that. And that is key. I mean, I really do think you should just set your intention for that. And, what God puts together, nothing can tear it apart. And so that's really what you need to set your intention on. And I love that the self-love, Tiara. Yeah, I mean, the self-love is so important because you go forth with such confidence about who you are and what you want. And then you really can love other people. It sounds like a cliche, but it really does. It does make sense that you really have to love and accept yourself. Know yourself, accept it, love your faults and some of the things that you're excellent with, love all of that. And so you can go forward with that confidence that you need. In terms of this, you guys having a blended family. Yeah, I mean, that is so common. Blended families are more common than quote unquote normal families, I guess. And I think that there's a myth that stigmatizes, I think, blended families as somewhat dysfunctional. And I truly believe that a blended family can be just as normal as a biological family if there's an adjustment there. I mean, there's always an adjustment. And, having a lot of patience can make that kind of smooth it over. Perseverance and taking out time to get to know all of these already developed children that are thrusted into this family, getting to know them. And kudos to you, Dede, for stepping right on in and just being really accepting and loving to small children and being able to say, hey, let's just scoop them all up. Let's all come on in the house and we all going to be together. That is beautiful. It is beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll tell you, the interesting thing is I noticed the Mrs. Huff mentioned, you mentioned that your husband is a talker and he's a communicator, and your personality is a little more reserved. And so what I found is and wondered about is, do you find those differences to be beneficial, like you complement each other in that way, or is it sometimes hard? Because I can imagine if you have, say, an introvert and an extrovert trying to figure each other out, that sometimes that can go left or it can go right, depending on the situation. What was that process like for you? And either one of y'all can respond on this in terms of adjusting to each other's style and each other's approach. You know what? Let me hit that button. There you go. I think you should be unmuted, or it should ask you to unmute. There you go. I think you're in now.
Okay. I think because he is such a talker that he has allowed me to, I don't know, build up my confidence when it comes to conversation. He asks the difficult questions and he doesn't let me not answer them.
Nice.
So as a result, I've just gotten better at, talking, communicating, especially with him. He doesn't allow me not to communicate with him. So that's helped me in a lot of ways.
Okay.
And I think for me, her being so private with her thoughts, I had to help her understand that God gave her all of what she is, and her thoughts are just as valuable, if not more valuable, than anybody else's thoughts. And if she keeps them to herself, she's being stingy. And if she loved me, she ain't gonna be stingy. She's gonna let it go. So I had to just help her understand she needs to get her thoughts out, because that way I can understand.
All right. I like that. I like that. And I like what you were saying about a lot of kisses, and it seems to me like I saw something familiar in you, Mr. Huff, when you just seemed like you really adore your wife, and you talked about how you just want to give her lots of kisses and everything. I took notes on that. I wrote lots of kisses on my notepad here. And because that's how I feel about my wife. And I think, and I don't know about you, but maybe you can tell me more about your feelings on this, but I don't feel that way all the time. Like somebody might look at me with her and say, oh, you're lovey-dovey, you're always super affectionate. And I say, no, actually, this woman really makes me extra affectionate. Like there's something about like sort of that person being like having a key to unlock a part of you that maybe nobody else can. What was that like for you in terms of how you look at Dede? It seems to me like she's just like, it's not like you could have been in a different marriage. Like I'm wondering, in your other marriage, were you like that with your ex-wife for any point in time, or was it, how much of that specific to Dede?
Well, it's like I was in a relationship in my past where I felt like I was by myself. There was no connection, that there was no growth occurring, and that my ego would not accept that this woman can't see that the needs that I have of showing love where she naturally loved me. And pretty soon I began to look at her and say, I don't even like her. And when you don't like somebody, how can you love them? So with Deborah, it was really easy. She always has a pleasant demeanor. She's beautiful. And then she's that way from the inside out. So she's kind, she's caring, and she's a lot of fun. She's always doing something. And she always got me doing something. And it keeps it interesting, exciting. And so affection is easy. So she is the key to turning on my faucet and it flows. And I guess sometimes she has to turn it off. It could be a bit much, maybe, I don't know. But one thing for sure, she can give me some attitude now. Don't think she don't know how to give me some attitude.
I love that. I love that. And Mrs. Huff, that costume, that Patti LaBelle with the aluminum foil. So tell what part of your personality had you pick that particular outfit? That's so is Patti LaBelle one of your favorite singers, or where'd that come from?
Actually, we were going to a Halloween party, and it was me and another girlfriend of mine, and we had no costumes. So we were at her house just creating something based on what we could find around her house. And I was thinking aluminum foil, okay, shoulder pads, okay, so, and it just got kind of crazy. And several years later, I got Eddie to dress to dress up like that also.
I love it. I love it. I thought that was so interesting to see. And
I just want to add on any given day, because karaoke, Dede is karaoke Dede. So during the week, she is like an entertainer and a personality. So on any given day, you can see Dede still dressed this way. Like when I tell you the youth is real, like I went to one of her karaoke nights and Dede came out in this little outfit and I was like, okay. So
Interesting.
to this day, Dede is very much like fun and young, and that's what they give me. Like one of the things, and this might be TMI. Sorry, Dede and Eddie, but
That's okay.
what I got from them is that they still like have sex, because like a lot of my other couples, some of my other couples didn't give me vibes like they still like each other in a way to touch each other and all of that. And I can tell he still thinks she's sexy and she got these little outfits on and she looking jazzy. And so I just think that their whole little vibe is super cute. I just wanted to add that. Sorry, Dede and Eddie.
I love it.
That's
I love
all
it.
good.
And actually, some of y'all were asking about this. I want to make sure I mention this. Someone asked us, Dede have a YouTube channel? I don't know if Dede has one. I know that Mr. Huff has one. Eddie, you got a YouTube channel.
Yeah, Eddie
Yes.
has one.
And what is it? It's FNS Slots. Is that right? FNS Slots?
Yes.
FNS
Stands for Father and Son Slots.
Father and Son Slots. So that's his YouTube channel. Everybody go subscribe to that. FNS Slots. Also, Dede is a KJ, which is a karaoke DJ. And KJ Dede, that is the name she goes by, which I think is just really, really cool. And it's real funny. And here's what's real funny too. I got a theory. Dede seems like the quieter one, but it's always the quiet one that has that whole other side. Like you ever seen Janet Jackson when she's sitting, in an interview, she's real meek and real meek and polite and quiet and shy, and then she gets on stage and it just all comes out. I think Dede might be got a little Janet Jackson in her. I think that's
Absolutely.
great. I love it. And Tiara, where can people follow you on social media and stuff like that?
Okay, I keep unmuting and muting myself. I'm at Miss Black Hollywood. That's MSBLACK Hollywood, and I'm on Instagram and Facebook, and reach out.
Okay, and I hope everybody will go and follow the platforms that we mentioned, because this has to be intentional. Just like love, just like relationship love, it has to be intentional. Well, our community love has to be intentional in terms of supporting the things we believe in. We're not here to hate nobody. We just want to make sure we really love ourselves. In the words of Mr. Eddie Huff, that self-love matters. So I believe we should love ourselves by supporting the people that we align with. Don't just say, oh, in your head, I think that what Tiara's doing is great. Go just hit that button, follow on social media, make a comment, hit the thumbs up button, follow Eddie's YouTube channel. You help Eddie and his son do well with their YouTube channel. KJ Dede, cheer for her, tell people about, share this video. Also, in fact, actually my wife, her on Instagram and also on the internet, you can find her at coachingwithdralicia.com. That's coachingwithdralicia.com. She sees clients and does a lot of couples counseling and stuff like that. She's licensed and she's a full professor and everything else. So her credentials are super real, and I honor that and I celebrate that because she's an extraordinary Black woman. I mean, right now she and I are on a writing trip. We actually just went literally 40 miles from our house, and we holed up in a hotel and we're just gonna sit and work on our books and stuff. And this lady has an insane work ethic. And I just respect her excellence, and I want to just share that with you guys. I hope that's okay. Mm-hmm. And then last but not least, don't forget, everybody, this is going to be part of the theme of the All Black National Convention. That's going to be at the end of October, last weekend in October, the 29th through November 1st. We're going to do a lot of different things, panels on everything related to business. And of course, crypto and investing and all that. We got all that covered. Y'all know that. We're going to have tons of experts in the building. Everything you want will be there. But then also we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to have a masquerade ball. We're going to have the Black Excellence Awards. We're going to have speed dating so you can meet B1 people in the community. And also we're going to have panels, really interesting panels on a lot of interesting things happening in the Black community. Everything from what's been going on with the pandemic to what's happening with the educational system. A lot of our kids are falling behind because of the pandemic. We're going to talk about politics and hip hop, and y'all know what we do. We have fun. It's going to be the biggest, baddest, blackest convention we've ever had. And it is funded by us, for us. We did this. This ain't gonna be brought to you by Walmart, brought to you by Coca-Cola. No. Black liberation ain't gonna be paid for by nobody but Black people. We gonna pay the price for our freedom, and that's how we're gonna get it done. So I'm gonna put the link where you can all go if you want to go and reserve your hotel room. You may want to get that soon. If you know you're going to go, reserve your room now. There's a huge discounted rate. I think it's like we got the rooms for like 150, 160, and they're normally about 270 or something like that. And then in about a week, we will actually put the tickets on sale. So you can reserve your hotel room now if you want to. The link is in the chat. And let me make sure I put it in there properly because I want to make sure I didn't mess that up. The link should be in the chat right in 3, 2, 1, and go. So if you want to share the link, if you could, take that link and maybe put it on your social media if you know anybody else who wants to go. It's really going to be great. And I look forward to giving everybody as many hugs and handshakes as we can. Okay, so please have a great day, everybody. And this has been awesome. And I'm gonna hit some mute buttons. I'm hearing my little bit of an echo. And I want to say thank you so much to Mr. and Mrs. Huff. Please give them a digital thank you and a digital round of applause. So they put their whole relationship out there on Front Street so that everybody can learn. Y'all have changed some lives. I just want you to know that there's some people in here that are gonna walk out of here with knowledge that they did not have if the Huffs had not shared it, because you are the teachers in the community. We honor you. Also, give a digital thank you to Tiara KJ Williams, aka Miss Black Hollywood. You go, girl. We love you. You the best. You the best. You the best. All right. And also, I hope you will join me in applauding for my wife, Black Girl Magic, Hercules. We love you. And I also applaud for all of you that joined us. Thank you, guys. No, on the 12th, it's August 12th is when we're going to do the next installment. This is part 3. We're going to do part 4 on the 12th at 8 p.m. You'll get an email from us. So God bless everybody. Thank you all for hanging out. And thank you, Lord, for not messing up the Wi-Fi. I just want to thank God for not messing up, for letting us have some good Wi-Fi. All right. So take care, everybody. We'll see y'all soon. Be good. Bye.